Welcome everybody to the Dreads weekend post-game report, where I discuss the most recent Hanwha game. Then I talk about the good, the bad, and what I would have done differently if I was in the dugouts as the manager. From there, I'll preview the upcoming game, talk about the pitching matchups, and what I think is going to happen. Let's go. All right, huge win for Hanwha. They finally get their first win of the week, blowout against Samsung. Ryu Hyun-jin pitched really well, 5 innings, 80 pitches, gave up 3 hits. Was worried about him coming into this game because he had a 6.97 ERA on the road. He has just not pitched well on the road. He was 1-4, so all 4 of his losses came on the road. The one win that he did have was the Doosan game where he had the 1-hitter, and then today another 3-hitter. Only had to go 5 innings because the team was up 12-0 at that point. So great pitching from him, got everything done, stopped the losing streak at 4 games. Then other things, when your team puts up 12 runs, there's lots of good things, lots and lots of good things. The biggest thing is Kim Tae-yeon, 4 for 4 in the first 4 innings. Single, 2-run homer, single, single. You know, when you're the leadoff batter and you're hitting 4 straight innings to start the game, you know things are going well offensively. Back to, I want to say last week's streams where I talked about he's not a guy that needs to be pinch hitting. He's a guy that needs to play the field.
I don't know why he continues to go with him as a pinch hitter. Kim Tae-yeon is someone who needs to be hitting on a regular basis. He needs to be in the lineup 2, 3, 4 times a week in order to be able to get into his routine. If he's not, he cannot play very well.
Yes, his defense is suspect, but he's a guy that needs to be getting regular hits. And since he's been put back in the lineup, since Chan Sung was taken away down to the second league, he has been doing nothing but hitting. And hopefully they continue and follow this once Chan Sung comes back. Other things, obviously the home run parade. An Chi-hong with a 2-run homer in the first inning, then Moon Hyun-bin with a 2-run homer in the second inning, and then Kim Tae-yeon with a 2-run homer in the second inning, and then Peraza with a 3-run homer in the third inning. Went up 12-0 at that point. The game is not decided, but it's fairly well decided as substitutions start coming in at that point. Now, there are things that I didn't like. One thing sticks out in particular, and that is Jang Jin-hyuk's defense in center field. In the bottom of the 9th, he misplayed a ball, got turned around 3 times trying to catch a ball, ended up not being able to catch it, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal, except earlier he had another misplayed ball in center field. So he's supposed to be the answer in center field, but that's 2 misplayed balls since he's been back up playing center field. It is a cause for some concern. Now, what would I do different? Well, whenever you are up 12-0 after 3 innings, there's not a lot of manager mistakes you can really make at that point. But there were 2 that stood out to me, and these are the type of things that constantly happen that I question everything about the dugout. So Ryu Hyun-jin pitched 5 innings. Great. Take him out after 80 pitches. Perfectly fine. He's in line for the win. He pitched 110 pitches on Tuesday. No problem with that. My problem comes from who they put in after him. Jang Si-won, who pitched perfectly fine, but Jang Si-won pitched on Saturday. Then also Yoon Dae-kyun pitched on Saturday. Both those guys came in on Sunday to pitch in a game that was pretty much decided. He had Han Seung-hyuk and Han Seung-ju that didn't pitch on Saturday that could have easily came in and pitched. I don't understand it. If they were injured, why are they still on the first team? Why not send them down to Sosan or take them off? The bullpen has been used and abused all week. You need as many arms as possible going into the game because you don't know what's going to happen. I just don't understand why he wouldn't use those 2 arms. it's mind-boggling. But Hanwha, huge win. The offense continues to hit since the new hitting coach has taken over. Again, I did not like the hitting coach when they gave him the promotion from assistant hitting coach or tandem hitting coach or whatever it was. I questioned it then. I questioned it all the way up until this year. Even in my preview, I talked about how I didn't know they could score. But now that they've made the hitting coach change, lots of things have completely changed. They're hitting the ball a lot more. They are scoring runs, and the offense is clicking. So finally, that's one of the changes I would have made if they had ever asked me to be in the dugouts. They made that change. So let's get to this week's games. All right, so this week's matchup is going to be here in Daejeon at the stadium between LG Twins and then Hanwha. So I will be at the game, so I won't be able to do any broadcasting or any streaming. So I figured I would go ahead and talk about the matchups overall together. Again, I'm just going to be guessing at some of these matchups because the KBO doesn't show their matchups until the day before. And with the injuries to Hanwha's starting pitching staff, I'm just kind of guessing at what's going to happen here. So the first game is going to be Tuesday. It's going to be Kelly versus Moondongju. Now, Kelly has not pitched well. This is the worst season he has had, a 4.88 ERA, 1-5 in 9 games. He's given up 7 home runs already, has not pitched well. He did pitch much better in his last game, but took the loss. 6 innings, 98 pitches, gave up 2 runs, but none of them were earned. So he has pitched better in his last couple outings, but history-wise, he's not pitched well against Hanwha either. Last year, a 5.17 ERA was 1-1, and 5 games in 2022, he had a 4.23 ERA, was 3-2. So he hasn't really pitched that well against Hanwha even in the past, which is a great thing for Hanwha. Now, Kelly is a fastball curveball pitcher, 142 on the fastball, 125 on the curveball from the right side. He is very similar to the pitcher I think they're going to face on Wednesday. And these are type of guys that, again, Hanwha generally hits fairly well. So I think they're going to score some runs, might put some baseballs in the seats in the outfield. So I think they have a chance to definitely score plenty of runs. Now, as far as LG, Moondongju will be making his return, his first start since the 28th of April. He's only thrown 1 inning. Now, he threw 1 inning in Sosan against Samsung. He pitched 1 inning, or 1.1 inning, 1 inning, and he pitched well. He threw 11 pitches, 10 of them for strikes, gave up 1 hit, 1 strikeout. So he pitched well in that 1 inning, but how many innings, how many pitches is he going to throw? Before he went down, he was obviously struggling. His last start, 3.1 innings on the 28th of April, 95 pitches, 10 hits, 3 homers, 2 walks, gave up 9 runs, all earned. Before that, again, he has not pitched well this year with a 8.78 ERA in his 6 games. So how is he going to pitch? Obviously, he has the stuff. 149 is his fastball, curveball, slider, does throw a changeup every once in a while, just a very little bit. So the type of pitcher that he is, LG doesn't hit well either. Now, the question is, so the closest it's going to be Kwakbin for Doosan. It throws very similar stuff, throws a fastball 42% of the time with a curveball, slider, changeup, his least used pitch. It does throw things a little bit more as he throws his fastball a little bit less than Moondongju. But he went 0-1, 2.70 ERA, 6.2 innings, gave up 2 hits, 7 strikeouts, and 2 runs. So LG doesn't hit the type of pitcher that Moondongju is if Moondongju can locate and throw strikes. The biggest problem for Moon Dong-ju is the home runs. He's already given up 6 home runs this year. He gave up 6 all of last year. Can Hanwha win? Absolutely. This is a game that I think they have a good chance of winning. The real question is going to be is how many pitches can Moon Dong-ju throw? Is he going to be limited to 50? Are they going to let him throw 80? What's going to happen the third time through the lineup? And what's going to happen with the bullpen? That's always a conversation before, during, and after the game. What's going to happen with the manager and the pitching choices, and are they going to be too late? So I do think that they can win this game as long as Moon Dong-ju can pitch well. So first game, Tuesday, definitely a winnable game. Now, Wednesday, they are going to face Ends, who they faced in opening day. And again, foreign left-handed pitchers dominate Hanwha. They dominate Hanwha. And I can't explain this enough. They just dominate Hanwha. Again, the only lefty pitcher that they hit well against was Brandon for Doosan, but he went to the disabled list immediately after that. So can they really hit a pitcher like that? I have to say no until they can. And then I'll be like, oh, well, that was fantastic that they finally started to do it. He should be facing Kim Gi-jung, who will be making a spot start. He's done well in his starts last year. He has not started this year. His most recent was when he came in for Peña, 3.2 innings, 62 pitches. So I imagine that they'll have him trying to go 5 innings, 60-something pitches. Another lefty, and he's going to give up 2 runs. Why do I say he's going to give up 2 runs? Well, 3.2 innings. Last week gave up 2 runs. I went back and looked at his last 5 starts from 2023. 5 innings, 2 runs. 3 innings, 2 runs. 4 innings, 3 runs, 2 earned. 5 innings, 2 runs. 5 innings, 2 runs. He just gives up 2 runs. When he starts, when he pitches more than in 1 inning, he just gives up 2 runs. Fastball, curveball, slider, changeup guy. Again, because he hasn't started, I don't have any starting pitch choices. I'm kind of looking through his previous starts and our previous appearances and trying to get something like that. So again, it's going to be a thing where Moon Dong-ju isn't going to be able to go deep in the game. Kim Gi-jung isn't going to be able to go deep in the game. Kim Gi-jung, sorry, isn't going to be able to go deep in the game. What's going to happen with the pitching changes and the manager choices? So this is a game that I think Hanwha struggles with, mainly because they have not shown the ability to beat a left-handed starter. And until they can, I can't honestly say that they have a chance. They get dominated. So that brings us to Thursday's game, which should be Wang Jun-seo versus Im Chang-gyu. Im Chang-gyu is the pitcher that started the Hanwha 7-game winning streak in the season. He pitched on Sunday's game of opening weekend. Did not pitch well. 6 innings, gave up 3 runs, all earned. But Hanwha hit .318 against him. And again, this is with the old batting coach or hitting coach. So again, is the same type of pitcher that Kelly is. Fastball, curveball, changeup, cutter, about the same speed. And Hanwha hits these type of right-handed pitchers fairly well. Does that mean they're going to hit this one well? In the past, they have. So I think that they'll be fine. Now, the big question here is Wang Jun-seo. How is he going to do? Well, Wang Jun-seo needs to be limited. I've talked about this the last time I broadcast and he was pitching. They need to cut back on him. They don't need to expect him to go 5 innings. They don't need to expect him to, throw 80, 90 pitches. What they need him to do is go 2 times through the order. He doesn't have a big enough pitch repertoire yet to be able to go through the order a 3rd time successfully. Most pitchers struggle the 3rd time. He doesn't have 4 and 5 pitches yet that he can go through and be changing pitches, and they see it once, okay, they see it a 2nd time, a different game plan the 2nd time, the 3rd time, they've got it figured out, and it's really complicating him. On top of that, the thing with LG and why I think he will pitch well against them is because they are predominantly left-handed. Left-handers are hitting 135 against Wang Junseok. 135. Right-handers are killing them, but LG's without their right-handed catcher, Park Dong-won, who isn't eligible to come back after the knee injury. They said 1 to 2 weeks, and I don't think he's eligible. Maybe he can be back on Thursday, but they said 1 to 2 weeks. I think Thursday will be 10 days, which is the minimum you have to be gone in order to be able to come back after be taking off the first team. Hong Chang-gi, Park Hae-min, Kim Hyun-soo, Moon Sung-ju, Oh Ji-won, Shin Min-jae, all their starters, 6 of their 9 starters are left-handed hitters. And Ha Dong-won, who is kind of the catcher until Park Dong-won comes. They do have one other catcher, I can't remember his name, a rookie catcher, that they want to get some playing time, but he hasn't really played too much. So I think he will be fine pitching. And I think, again, Hanwha can hit him. Now, what needs to happen is he either needs to throw up to 80 pitches or 2 times through the lineup and done. Whichever one comes first, done. You got to save his arm so he doesn't need to pitch more than 80 pitches. And you got to keep the game close and not let him go too long. So you need to stop it at 2 times through the order. That's where he's been getting hit, is once he goes through that 3rd time. Now you could send him out for the 3rd time if it's finishing an in. If you send him out and he's finishing in an inning when the lineup rolls over for the 3rd time, the first time he gets into trouble, though, you've got to take him out. And at the end of that inning, he's done. That's what you have to do with him until he can develop some more pitches, and so that he can go deeper by changing to different pitches later on the 3rd time through. So Hanwha, I think they can win 2. I think they can win 2 of 3. I don't think they can sweep. I don't think they get swept. But again, it also depends on how the pitching changes happen. Also, there could be some changes offensively where they might be having some guys come up and some guys taken off the roster, which would obviously play into things. But Hanwha should be able to win 2 out of 3. LG is not nearly as strong as they were last year. They kind of lost the feel and that momentum after finally winning the championship. So 2 out of 3 would be fantastic. 1 out of 3 would be the minimum. If they get swept, that's going to make for a really, really rough weekend as they head to Incheon. So I will see you guys on Friday for my stream against SSG, and hopefully you guys can check out the game and let me know how good my preview was. See you then.